I want to get some official information now on a fast-developing fire burning north of Lyons. Anne Reid, the spokesman with Lyons Fire, is joining us now. And Anne, if you will, could you give us just the nuts and bolts of what you do know at this point?
Well, good afternoon. Yeah, we're just looking at that new start that's growing as quickly as that Alexander Mountain grew yesterday, which we are also working on as well up here at Northern Colorado Air Base. They're growing. Looks like the wind's pushing a little bit towards the east, and we do have evacuations in place in the Lyons area for Steamboat Valley, Eagle Ridge, and Stone Canyon. They have the large animals being evacuated to the Boulder County Fairgrounds. Can I answer any other questions?
Yeah, do you know as far as things when the first calls came in, and we've been talking about zero containment and 30 acres. Is that still accurate?
Oh, yeah, there's zero containment. They do have multiple aviation resources that have been helping with the new start here in Lyons. Those have been working the Alexander Mountain Fire this morning, and a few of those were able to get over to the new start in Lyons, which I believe is called Stone Mountain Fire. That
was going to be my next question. There's some folks online in the fire community referring to it as Stone Mountain. Could you tell us more about this area, right? We can see from Sky 9, obviously you've got Eagle Ridge kind of down into the canyon, into the valley, a number of homes through that area, not side by side, but certainly not all that spread out either. What can you tell us about the lay of the land?
Yeah, some people call them little ranchettes, but just not like a subdivision that's house after house after house. They're a little bit spread out on that, but they definitely have had some fires up in that area before, and a pretty good fire aware, making sure that their homes are taken care of and mitigated around the homes. But I don't have answers as far as what kind of structure protection is in place right now.
We were saying how surprisingly, well, not surprisingly necessarily, but how quickly air assets were able to get onto this fire. And I imagine that had something to do with already working the Alexander Mountain Fire, that they were able to divert. As far as how you divide those assets is probably a pretty interesting decision-making process with so much at stake.
Yeah, we have an air attack that kind of orchestrates what's going on with those aviation resources, like a concert, maestro, just orchestrating those resources. We do have some planes flying out of Jeffco, and then we have some resources flying out of that Broomfield area.
And can I ask you, in terms of local resources for the Lyons Fire Protection District, how many folks do you have? How many can you get during an emergency situation like this? And how many of them were up in Larimer County helping out? I'm just curious about the amount of man and woman power that exists in town for structure protection. Yeah, we have on any of these fires in Boulder County, Larimer County, the mutual aid response is usually fantastic. So you get resources from the surrounding areas. I believe Boulder County Sheriff is managing the fire at this time. And the reason that the sheriff's office would be managing the fire as opposed to somebody else, is that standard protocol for the fire start before it's handed off to a fire-specific team?
Boulder County, there's a Boulder County Sheriff. They have a fire crew that is pretty diligent in that area, in that arena.
Gotcha. We've been able to see from Sky 9 what appears to be the remains of one home that's burned. You can see the fireplace in the chimney, some vehicles lost on that property. Do you know anything about the number of structures lost at this point? I know it's early.
No, I don't, but I'm sorry for the loss. Our thoughts are with them for sure, and those that are having to evacuate. And thinking about what you would grab if you did have to evacuate. What would that mean to anyone that is trying to grab and go and get out of there as quickly as they can, is thinking about the proper taking care of your pets and where they need to go, and having enough food and clothing for yourself for a couple days if you had to self-sustain. for yourself and your animals.
Yeah, it's a lot of stress, a lot of fear, even if you are prepared. We talked about this a bit yesterday with Alexander Mountain as far as cell service, meaning because that's how most people get alerts, are communicating to one another. This area, do you know this area well enough to say this does or doesn't have good, solid cellular service?
There's alerting systems that are in place inside Larimer and Boulder County. So a lot of folks need to sign up for those alerts. I'm sorry, I have an aircraft coming in right now. It's going to be really loud.
All right. Well, Anne, we appreciate you joining us, sharing information with us. We'll continue to check with you. Thanks as always for keeping us posted. That was Anne Reid joining us with Lyons Fire Protection spokesman and telling a story that this Alexander Mountain fire is going to play a very big role in how this fire, now being called the Stone Mountain Fire, is fought, and hopefully with a better result because of that other fire happening to have happened so nearby so recently.